What is good, guys? We are back on Bleach Soul Resonance today, and I've had the chance to use TOSHIRO for a little bit, so now it's finally that time. After a couple of days of him being out, it's time to do his how to use and how to build TOSHIRO HITSUGAYA video. So we'll get into the video. We'll go like the others. We'll go over his kit. We'll go over his weapon stamp. We'll go over his core stamp, and you know, his build and all that shit. So, but before we do that, guys, leave a like on the video. Make sure you guys subscribe to the channel. We're like, what, I don't know, 100 and something away from 1,000 subs. So guys, if you get me to that 1,000 subs before Aizen comes out, then I will do a giveaway on Aizen's core stamp pack. I'll buy one of you guys that subscribe to me Aizen's core stamp. So make sure you guys subscribe to the channel, and you'll get a chance to win Aizen's core stamp. If not, I mean, if you don't want Aizen's core stamp, that is, I can buy you this premium spiritual jade pack instead. So yeah, make sure you guys subscribe to the channel and get a chance to win the giveaway. So let's get into the video. Right, my TOSHIRO HITSUGAYA. Now, he is kind of jacked, bro. I'm not gonna lie, like almost 37k we got for him right here. I do have his main weapon and we got his stamps, but we'll go over that in a minute. So these are the stats that I'm rocking with him right now. 143% to critical damage, and then we've got 20.3% crit rate right there. But these are his stats. Let's go over his kit to begin with. So his passive: TOSHIRO charges up when releasing his basic attacks, Ice Dragon Lunge and Daiguren Flock of Ice Pillars. His technique: Daiguren Hyoryu Senbi, and his counter attack. So he's going to be generating ice blossoms with like nearly everything he does. And he has a maximum of 8. The number of ice blossoms is displayed in cross-shaped ice crystals to the left of HP. So when we go into the training, I'll show you what that looks like and what you got to look out for when you're building it up. When he releases his ultimate, all ice blossoms are consumed and they deal 6% additional damage for each one. So if you build up 8, then that's 6 times 8, which is around like what, 50%, 48% to additional damage, which is really good. His passive boost 1: when releasing a basic attack while moving in Bankai state, he gains 1 stack of build up. So when you're in your Bankai state, you're going to be unleashing a whole lot of basic attacks, and with each one you're going to be stacking up a lot of these build up stacks, and each stack gives increases the spirit damage by 4.3%. so you want to try and stay in this Bankai state till the last moment before you hit your ult, so that you can get as much spirit damage build up as possible. It says up to 5 stacks, which you'll do, you know, really easily. So when TOSHIRO ends his Bankai state, all stacks of build up are consumed. If 5 stacks of build up are consumed, TOSHIRO's spiritual pressure is instantly filled to the maximum at the end of Bankai state, which is really good. So you fill that shit up, and then you get your max damage, and then you let off that insane damage in ult, and then as soon as you're out of your Bankai state, you can go straight into your Shikai enhanced basic state as well, but we'll look at that in a minute as well. His passive boost 2, I have all of these at level 2, by the way. When TOSHIRO enters Bankai state, each ice blossom grants 5% ultimate energy. If TOSHIRO releases ultimate Hyoten Hyakuso within 20 seconds, raises the ultimate damage by 35%. Okay, so next is 40%. That's really what I want. But basically, you build up these ice blossoms and you're gaining a lot of ultimate energy. Once you hit your ult, okay, not once you hit your ult. So while you're building up, as long as you let off his major damage in ult in 20 seconds, you will get this 35% to ultimate damage increase. So that's what you want to aim for. You want to make sure you fully build him up while he's in his Bankai state, and then drop that nuke before those 20 seconds are up while you're in your Bankai state, so that you get a big 35%. Well, and if you get this to level 3, then 40% damage increase to his ultimate. It still does a lot of damage regardless, but like, you'll be missing out on a lot of damage if you don't keep an eye on those 20 seconds. And then it's passive boost 3: for each 1% crit rate TOSHIRO has, his basic attack Ice Dragon Lunge deals 1.5% more damage, up to 78%. So of course that means you're gonna want at least around 80% crit rate. because as long as you have 80% crit rate, that means that you're going to be getting the full 78% to damage increase to his Ice Dragon Lunge, and of course that's what you want. And his Ice Dragon Lunge, I believe, is, yeah, it's his special attack, and this does a shit ton of damage, so you're definitely going to want to build as much crit rate on this guy as you possibly can. But now we'll go to his basics. His normal basics is nothing special. He does five strike attacks, dealing damage equal to 376% and accumulating spiritual pressure. It's like, this isn't that great, but you're accumulating spiritual pressure. That's what matters, because once you build that shit up, after you build that up, you're gonna be able to hit his enhanced technique. So not the first one, which is the Ice Dragon Dive. Toshiro leaps into the air, leading an Ice Dragon to dive and slam into the enemy in front. This animation is beautiful, by the way. It's just, oh, this animation's so good, yeah? And once you hit that, you're going to be dealing 404% damage of attack and inflicts freeze points. Toshiro then enters Tensou Jyoden, during which his basic attacks are replaced by Ice Dragon Lunge. So obviously freeze points, I'm sure you know what that is by now, because, you know, I'm sure by now you've at least test played or watched my video on Rukia. If you haven't watched it, go watch the video on Rukia. Right now he's Toshiro's best friend, so you're not gonna run a team with Toshiro without Rukia. So go watch that video. But freeze points basically accumulate freeze points until it hits 100, and then the enemy is frozen. So we'll go back to his basic attack now. So once you hit that and it turns into Ice Dragon Lunge, so you'll be in Tensou Jyoden state, and he condenses water vapor, and he'll be dealing damage equal to 994% of attack. This is a lot of damage, especially for something that you're going to be getting quite often. So a lot of his damage you're going to be dealing in this state, because you're going to hit that Ice Dragon Lunge, and then you're going to be in the enhanced basic attack state, and you're going to be dishing out a whole lot of damage. Each hit landed charges his Ice Blossom, by the way, for successful hits. And his Ice Blossoms, if you didn't know, you build these up, and the damage of his ult increases by 6% for each one of the Ice Blossoms that you build up. Dodging or countering does not reset the attack streak. If the attack is interrupted, Tensou Jyoden will prematurely be removed. So if you get interrupted while in this state, like hit out of it or anything like that, then it will be removed, so you want to try avoid that. But you can dodge or counter and still stay in the state, so that is really good. And his basic attacks change when he goes into his Bankai, but we'll look at that after we look at his Bankai. Right, so we'll go to his technique really quick. So this is how his technique starts. So his technique will be these ice pillars. It says Ice Wall. He instantly creates massive ice crystals and fires them forward, dealing damage to 183% of attack, which isn't like insane. Like it's like kind of mid, but it's okay because of attack and accumulating spiritual pressure, because this accumulates your spiritual pressure. You can hit this, wait for a sec, so you just wait for a split second, just like how you would with Ichigo to get his special attacks, and then you tap your basic attack button, and by that point you've pretty much accumulated the spiritual pressure you need to go into your Ice Dragon Dive, and the cooldown doesn't matter. So once you switch to Ice Dragon Dive, then you can use these techniques pretty much together, if that makes sense. So you hit this technique, you hit your basic, then it will switch to Ice Dragon Dive, and then you hit that and you're ready to go. And then you go into your enhanced basic attack state, basically your Shikai state, and yeah, you'd be dealing a whole lot of damage. So each hit by the technique inflicts 5 freeze points. Now it's not a lot of freeze points, but it does hit quite a bit. And when you use this alongside Rukia, of course, doing her battlefield skill at the same time, this will be inflicting quite a bit of freeze points anyway. So you'll see when you use this guy with Rukia, you're going to be freezing everyone all the time. So after releasing the technique, creates an area filled with ice pillars ahead. The ice pillars explode in 2.5 seconds, dealing damage equal to 117%. So this is good because this does match up with this, and you're doing quite a bit more damage because of it, around 300%. So it's pretty good. And it inflicts 5 freeze points on them and grants spiritual pressure to Toshiro. So that's good. Did we read this already? I'm pretty sure we did. Yeah, we did. So and his technique obviously changes again once he's in his Bankai state. But let's look at his counter now. So his counter, he falls back to create distance, then lunges at the enemy to counter attack, dealing damage equal to 875%. That's good. And inflicting 15 freeze points, which is good, and you gain spiritual pressure, because obviously you want to be building up these freeze points everywhere, because you have to hit 100 to freeze the enemy. And once you do freeze the enemy, you're going to be doing more damage, and the enemy can't do anything about it because they're frozen. So, and his counter changes once he's in his Bankai state. So now let's look at his Bankai. He covers his body, so this is pretty much just saying he goes into his Bankai. And then once he's in his Bankai, his basic attacks change. They become really long range, so you can be almost anywhere in the map and fly around hitting these basic attacks, building up your stacks. So he's shooting off these long range spikes, which hit up to 5 times, dealing total 528% damage. This is really good for basics. And each hit adds a stack of Ice Edge. Each hit landed charges Ice Blossom. By the number of successful hits, Toshiro can perform basic attacks while moving. So basically, when you're doing this, you want to be moving him around at the same time, because you'll be able to somewhat avoid enemy attacks while you're hitting these basics, which is so good, and it's clean and it feels amazing. Like, it's just so fluid and smooth. This Ice Edge, this is a special charge while in his Bankai state. If you hit 5 of these stacks, he's able to release a powerful technique. And also you're building up the Ice Blossoms, which is, if you remember, the 6% stacks for each Ice Blossom you build up to then do more damage on his ult. His counter changes in his Bankai state too. So when you're in your Bankai state and you hit this counter, it does 1050% damage, which is quite a lot, and he inflicts 15 freeze points. Counterattack damage dealt by actively tapping the counter button is reduced to 25%. So he's able to, once you build up his stacks in his Bankai state, he's able to shoot off his counter attack manually, kind of like Ichigo when he goes into his ultimate state. But obviously it's not doing the 1050% damage that it would be if you actually countered the enemy. It is reduced by 25%, but it's still good because you can manually do it. And we looked at his enhanced basics and his Bankai basics. Now we'll look at his technique while in Bankai state. While in Bankai state, Toshiro flaps his ice wings and dives forward. He deals 449% to damage and inflicting 10 freeze points on the enemy. While releasing the technique, Toshiro enters the invincibility state, and you can tap the counter attack button to release a counter attack. So this, when you hit this move, this is what allows you to manually hit those counter attacks. And obviously you're gonna pair that manual counter attack up with this move. Like, the multiplier isn't like humongous here or anything, but you're gonna be getting it off so frequently. The enemy's gonna be getting frozen a lot, and you're gonna be hitting this like at least 3 times. Around 3 times before you hit your ult anyways. So you're gonna be building up a lot of damage there. And then his final ult, so his like finishing move while in his Bankai state, once you hit max ultimate energy, he deals damage equal to 1932% of attack and consumes all Ice Blossoms. Each Ice Blossom consumes grants an extra 6% to damage multiplier. Releasing the skill removes the Bankai state. So baseline, it's going to be doing 1932%. Obviously you're going to want to make sure you build up all the stacks of Ice Blossom as you possibly can, which was around what, 45 to 50% extra increase here. So this is roughly going to be 2000, just over 2000%. So that's really good. It hits really hard. So Toshiro, he's crazy. He does a lot of damage. This guy is in fact that guy. So obviously we're going to see, and I'm going to show you guys anyway. So let's look at him right now. We'll look at what I have. I have him at B2. So if you're looking at getting his dupes or anything, I wouldn't say it's necessary. Especially if you're free to play, you don't need these dupes. But if you did, I would stop at dupe 2. I don't think you need to go much further, even though his other dupes are better. I mean, I wouldn't say are better. His other dupes are really good, but these 2 is like where you want to be. So his damage dealt increases by 25%. That's just outright good in general anyway. And as soon as you hit your Bankai state, you immediately get 3 Ice Blossoms. So that's 3 less Ice Blossoms you have to worry about building up while in this Bankai state. So that's like extremely helpful. And then the second dupe gives you increased crit rate by 20% for 8 seconds after releasing a technique or counterattack, stacks up to 2 times. So you can hit this twice, you can stack this twice and gain 40% crit rate for 8 seconds, sorry. And that's really good because obviously, as you saw, he does want a lot of crit rate and he does want to hit his ult quite a lot. So obviously here you gain a lot more damage with the crit rate here. So the more crit rate you have, you know, the quicker you can get to this max damage boost right here. Plus you're gonna want to crit on all these moves, especially his ult here, to just do that insane boost of damage. So he's got a lot of damage there going. So that was his dupes. Now let's look at his build. Let's look at how we should build him. So obviously, if you want like him at his peak performance, you're gonna want his weapon stamp. That goes without saying for every character. If you want them exactly how they were designed to be, you want their weapon stamp. I have his weapon stamp at A2 right now. So that means that his crit rate increases by 37.5%, and obviously you know why that's good, because I just showed you the crit rate that you want. So not only are you gonna be critting a lot more, but you're gonna get that max damage boost from his passive boost as well. So, and during his TOSHIRO state, which is obviously his enhanced Shikai state, basic attack damage is increased by 62.5%, which is insane because that's where he's doing so much damage. After you hit that enhanced technique, you go into that Shikai and then you start throwing your dragon around. Pause. But once you start doing that, you can be doing a lot of damage in that state anyway. And then 62.5% on top of that is just crazy. And he gives himself 31.25% to damage reduction. And this makes it so that you cannot be interrupted while doing his basic attacks in that enhanced state. So that means with this, the only way that he was able to lose your enhanced Shikai state is if you get interrupted, if you get hit out of it. But when you have this weapon equipped, it makes it so you cannot be interrupted, which is like, it's nothing groundbreaking, but it's pretty good. It means that you're not losing out on your damage by getting interrupted. But yeah, and obviously it gives you 50% to your weapon stat boost, which is obviously this. So you get 50% to these stats for your weapon. So that's really good. I would say that if you can get this, then I would. But if you can't, then I would suggest to use maybe this one. It's because you just, after you deal spirit damage, base attack increases by 15% for 12 seconds. So obviously this is clearly tailored towards a spirit type unit. So I would say to probably use this one if you're not going for his weapon. Do I think his weapon is necessary? It's hard for me to say. I haven't really used him without his weapon, but I wouldn't get a character if I wasn't planning to get his weapon too. You can skip his weapon. You get quite a blow because the multipliers here are different when he's A1. I don't think I can go back and look, can I? No, but I'm pretty sure this is like 20% to crit or some shit like that, and 40% to damage increase. You are missing out on quite a bit, I'm not gonna lie, but it's not exactly necessary. You can do just fine without it. I would always suggest though, if you plan to summon for a character, you should probably plan to summon for their weapon too. For his stamps, you're going to want a cone stamp set because these look to be quite clearly tailored towards spirit type units. So okay, don't worry about this. This is an extra stat because I raised it to 6-star. So with the cone set, you're gonna want it gives you on 2-piece, it gives you spirit damage 11%, really good, because obviously you want that spirit type, you want more damage. And then 3-piece increases ultimate damage by 30%. Each time a technique is released, increases basic attack damage by 36% for 8 seconds. So this is just like, it's completely tailored towards TOSHIRO. That's unstackable, by the way, but it doesn't really matter, because obviously the reason why I would say this is like tailored towards TOSHIRO is because of course you're gonna hit your ice dragon, that's your technique, and then you go into your enhanced basics where you're going to be dealing a fuck ton of damage, and then this is giving you an extra 36% on top of that for 8 seconds. So really good right there. You're going to want to aim, oh, and obviously the ultimate damage increase is just good all around. So right here, my substats, I got lucky here and I rolled attack and spirit damage bonus by 20% on the first stats. I would like to have changed one of these HP for like crit rate, crit damage, attack, anything like that. But what can I say? Rolling these stamps is annoying. So yeah, but this is pretty good for what it is anyway. And when I upgraded it to 6-star, I got a nice extra stat right here, which is increased armor damage by 22.5%. That's really good. I would say for all of these, you just want to try go for crit rate, crit damage, attack. I don't think you necessarily need ultimate charge rate for Toshiro because he gets his ult quite quickly anyway, so you'll be pretty good there. I obviously I'm not happy with these defense, but what can I say? I'm not gonna keep rolling this shit. But there you go, that's the stamp set that you're gonna want on him. For the bonds, I would suggest going for crit damage or attack if you want, but that's just what I'd suggest there. Now his core, if you want his core, his main core, obviously, I mean, if you get it, I mean, then that's obviously what you want to use, but it's not that easy. I bought it and then after that I rolled it. If you haven't checked out the live stream or the short, then yeah, check that out. I got it right after I bought it pretty much. It was stressful, but you know, you can't be mad, you know what I'm saying? But check that out. By the way, I try to stream Fridays, Saturdays, so make sure you guys tune into the channel and check out those streams when I do. Quick plug. But anyway, on here it gives you 20% spirit damage, which is good, and then attack and all that good stuff. Now I have this Ascension stage 2, so this is a little higher, but this increases the cap of Ice Blossoms to 12. So it goes from, I believe, is it 6 to 12 or is it 8 to 12? Let me check that. This 8, so it goes from 8 to 12, which is an extra 4, which is an extra 6 times 4. So an extra what's that? 24% that you're gonna be getting there. So that helps quite a bit, increasing the crit damage of your armor by 7%. This is why, like, you want to try and up his crit damage as much as you possibly can as well, because you know that 7% multiplier will go a long way once you hit his ultimate, Hyoten Hyakusho. So basic attacks deal 35% more damage to targets affected by freeze points, and hitting targets charges Ice Blossom. This is really good. Yeah, this is so good because they're always going to be inflicted with freeze points, because everything he does and everything Rukia does inflicts freeze points. So you're going to be always dealing this extra 35% to basics, and you're going to be using his basics a lot. Remember, you're going to be doing a lot of his damage in his enhanced Shikai state, which is basic attacks. So he's going to be doing a ton of damage there, and that's just another 35% extra. It's just going to go a long way. So this is really good. If you can get it, then I would definitely recommend putting this on him and trying to go for it, like using your corridor keys. But if you don't have this and you don't want to spend your corridor keys on it, like you're saving it for Aizen or some shit, I'll suggest maybe just going for this. Each time an ultimate is released, triggers 1 additional attack of the same type, dealing damage equal to 43%. I would just suggest going for this. Gives you all type damage bonus here. I would say this is probably the best bet for him. So that's his build. That's the recommended build. That's pretty much everything we need to go over. So now let's take him into training and we'll look at how to use Toshiro HITSUGAYA. Okay, so we're in training, and if you notice right here, we do have the max battlefield state for Rukia. I just want to point that out. That's because if you get her A6, which she is on Toshiro's banner, if you get her A6, she will start off with her max battlefield skill, which is perfect. You can start the battle with a full freeze, and it's just really good. So anyway, we'll start off with Toshiro's basic attacks here. This is his full basic attack string right here. Look how good that looks, bro. Bro's aura farming with that pose. Look at that. Look, oh, so good. Now we'll show you his technique, and I'll show you how to pretty much go straight into, let me reset it so that his spiritual pressure is at 0. Basically right here, what I'll show you is you can go into his technique, and after he hits it, you see that little, did you see that right there? Okay, let me show you again. When you hit his technique, there's going to be a little split second and you're going to see a glow, just like with Ichigo on his special attack. So once you hit it, you wait, and then he'll go into basically the final attack in his normal combo attack string, which will push his spiritual pressure pretty much to the top here, as you can see down here. Now it's at max spiritual pressure. Now we can use his enhanced technique, so you can pretty much just go straight into it. So I'll show you again. Now you're ready to just go straight into his enhanced technique, and now your basics is in his enhanced Shikai state, and you're doing a lot of damage there. So we let off 408,000 damage with that little string there, which is really good. And obviously that's without any stacks from Kisuke. So let's raise this up, really. Let's reset that, sorry, and we'll get Kisuke. We'll get some stacks. We'll go into Toshiro right here. We missed out on that little bit of spiritual pressure, but it only took a couple basics, and his damage goes up to 617,000 damage. Now a little bit of that was Kisuke, but not much of it. So if you notice, when we're doing that too, we are building up his ice blossoms down the bottom there too. So now we can look at this right here, Icebound Prison. When you hit a crit, is it a crit? I don't remember what triggers that, but basically this will come up and his crit rate will increase for a period of time. So I'm not able to click these right now, but I am building up the ice blossom. So let's do that attack string again. You go straight into this. Okay, so while you go into this state, your crit rate does increase. You get 2 stacks of this, and your crit rate has increased. You'll be hitting crits a whole lot easier. And obviously up here, as you see, we're building up ice freeze points, and he gets frozen. So right now, let's do this again. And then we can go into our Bankai here. And now we can hit his Bankai. Now in this state, he's that guy. So down here, this is basically what you want to keep track of. This little icon here. While this is going down, if this reaches 0, you lose out on his ultimate damage increase. So obviously you want to get his stacks up, which are these stacks right here. Once you get it up, you can do this, his technique, and then manually his counter. And then you want to stack it up again to obviously get it again. Obviously my time has run out because obviously I'm just showing you guys. You want to watch that time, get as much of this damage in as possible, and then you want to stack it up again. So like just there, I didn't stack it up again, but what you want to do is stack those up to the max, like stack these right up to the max again, and then hit your ult, and then you'll get max damage out of it. So let me reset. Let's go through it all again. Anytime you hit that technique, you want to try and make sure you remember to wait a second, and then, you know, you build your spiritual pressure really quick. So in his Bankai, you just want to be quick. You want to build up as soon as you can, hit these as soon as you can. So you just keep building up till you hit the max. Keep looking at your petals, hit these. Watch your timer as well, because you don't want to lose out on that extra. You don't want to lose out on that extra ult damage. You build it right up, and then you hit your ult, and then hit your damage. And pretty much by himself, what you saw, those attack strings, he hits 3.3 million. And if you build it all up while in your Bankai state, then as you can see, when I come out of Bankai state, I do have max spiritual pressure, so I can go straight into his enhanced Shikai state once again, doing a butt ton of damage once again. So that's pretty much how to use Toshiro. Obviously on this team, you'll want to rotate him out with Kisuke to give him those damage boosts whenever you can, and then rotate Rukia in for freeze, using her battlefield skill as much as you can to freeze. And that's how it goes. So now let's take him into a boss fight. Who should we fight? Aizen, maybe the new Gin one, we'll see. But let's take him into a boss fight. Okay, so I'm thinking, let's try and hit my high score for the Gin event boss fight. 92,000 points. I'm not sure I'll be able to do this, I'm not gonna lie. We might not be able to do it. We're gonna try going with Rukia, Toshiro, and Kisuke. These are the debuffs or the buffs for Gin, I guess, what we're gonna be using. I'm gonna do a video on how to get 70,000 points, but for now, let's just go in with this. I'm kind of scared, I ain't gonna lie, but we might not be able to do it, but at least we'll see how much damage and stuff that they do. So let's go. Into Toshiro. Get that enhanced. We need to get this going as fast as we possibly can. Okay. So we're not doing as much damage on these guys as I wanted. I wanted to just, because it just eats up time. We need all the time we can get for fighting Gin. Oh, that's not good. One hit could just be the decider, bro, because it just uses up too much time. Go into this. He has, why does he have his damage guard? This isn't good. He interrupted me out of it, which is not good at all. I'm going to Bankai here. Okay, this is not good. Why are we not countering? Damn. Waiting for these counters, raise this thing. This isn't gonna work. We gotta retry. Let's try that again. We can't allow Gin to not be hit for a minute, or he gains a full shield. This is so good for crowd control as well, bro. Hitting both at once. So is Kisuke's move. Okay. I hope we're still in that enhanced state. We're not. That sucks. Okay, we freeze. That's good. Starting off with a shield is insane. Okay, we're gonna do the clash shit. Switch into Kisuke here. We'll go straight into his Bankai. Okay, we freeze, that's good. Oh, bro's dodging me. No. Oh, bro, he's just that guy. Gin is that guy. This is why I can't skip him. Even though if you want Toshiro and Aizen, I would recommend to skip him. And then, yeah, we get the enhanced state straight away, which is good. What isn't good is that I allowed Kisuke's bust to end. But at least we freeze him here. I didn't mean to do that. I could have saved that for when he's not in his free state anymore. Not good. Oh, I wish he was off cooldown, bro. We haven't even got his first health down yet. Alright, we just get it down. He's gonna enter Bankai. It gets scary here. What we can't do is allow him to wait there for a second. We gotta keep the damage up. We can't allow him to get... No. Because if we allow him to get 1 second, then we're cooked. Freeze him, please. Rukia, freeze him. Okay, we can't give him a second. We can't. If you get that shield up, we're not gonna have nowhere near enough time to do enough damage. And now into Toshiro's Bankai. Well, I don't know if we're gonna do this. I'm not gonna lie. But the freeze just comes in clutch so much. And his Bankai is just doing so much legwork, bro. Okay, again, let's build this up. Build up to the as much as we can. This would do so much more damage if... Okay, we need to go into Kisuke. Because we need to get Kisuke's stacks going again. Can we interrupt him here? We can, thank God. We did it. Oh my gosh, we did it. Guys, there you go. There's the team. Beautiful. Can I please look at the damage? It doesn't allow me, but I'm sure we done a ton of damage there. We got 92,000 points. Let's see where we're ranking now. We are 3rd on the ranking. That's beautiful. You love to see it. Thank you guys for watching. Leave us a like and subscribe, and I'll catch you guys in the next video.